In today's video, you're gonna get to hang out with Noah and I, and we're just gonna kind of reminisce on some of the worst appointments we've ever ran, and kind of just maybe give you a little bit of an unfiltered look at what going direct to seller really looks like. That way, maybe you can potentially hide some of the shock and awe when you run into situations like this. Mom, if you're watching this one, sorry.
Begin with this one.
Let me go this one?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Noah and I are hanging out and decided it'd be kind of fun to go through like some awkward, some uncomfortable, some really funny, some really like weird appointments we've ran. These are all true stories from houses that we've been to. I don't know that we've bought any of these, which I think makes it okay to share them.
Maybe a couple.
Okay.
So definitely not a ton though. They're a little.
Just kind of give you an idea of like what an actual day in the life is like running appointments as a real estate investor. I'm hesitant to even share this one. So there was a gentleman we knew that was like a successful real estate investor who had this larger apartment complex. I think it was like 11, 12 units.
Yeah.
It was actually in a good part of town. I tried to buy it from him, but he wanted too much money for it. But he was like, yo, come check it out. Like, I finished my unit and, the other, you can see what the other ones would look like. So we get there and we're like, okay, the building like doesn't have power. It's running on like construction power. It's got like space heaters in it. You open the unit and this guy who's like a respected investor in the community doesn't have a toilet. There's literally just a hole in the floor that like this dude's using, and he was like, he thought this was totally fine.
It's fine. You could smell it. I remember that
so
one when we walked in, and you're like, bro.
You were like, where do you like? He was like, oh, I just go up to the gas station up the road.
I forgot all about that one.
So
this was a few years back. This was our first big. It's a 5-unit building that we bought. So we went and walked through this 5-unit building. It was pretty rough, needed a lot. We put a lot of work into that thing. But in one of the units, there was a penguin, and the landlord was
like a concrete, like
it's like 3 feet tall, 2 feet tall, solid
probably
concrete
like
garden
70,
penguin.
80 pounds.
Yeah. So it was it was on the second floor in a unit. And
in like a bedroom.
We're like, what is this? And the landlord goes, oh, well, they stole it from across the street. And we're just like, interesting. So we didn't.
So did we put it back?
No. So we close on it. We start cleaning these units out. Ryan and I go back up there and we just.
Like, what are we going to do with it? We need an office mascot.
We took it. So we have Preston the penguin. And it gets better. So like after you moved away,
it became like a running joke.
It became a thing. Now I have 6 of them. I have a concrete duck. I have an Aflac penguin. I have a cigarette stained fluffy penguin. I have a 1 foot tall cement penguin.
Are these all like just memorabilia from?
Yeah. These are all houses that we've bought. They're all in my office. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, your bird collection. Maybe I shouldn't have left. Never been the same.
Never. I needed someone to replace you, so I got my birds. I do remember growing up in like 4th grade, one of my Christmas presents was a bird book.
Full circle.
Shaped my life.
There was a property we bought in a nicer part of town that you walked into the master bedroom. And there was the largest, like 4-poster bed that you've ever seen. I mean, this thing, like you needed a ladder to get into it.
There were 2 steps up to the bed, and
like not like the pet steps. Like,
no,
like a person.
You like steps.
Yeah.
Like you have to like step up the steps and then like put a little oomph into it to get into this thing.
So like you're standing there kind of looking around the room. You're taking your pictures, and Noah goes, "Yo, are those handprints on the ceiling?" And on this ceiling there's like there used to be popcorn ceiling. There was not where these handprints were anymore. There's like these two giant like hand stains on the ceiling. That then it's like you're talking to the person whose room this is and trying to pretend like you didn't notice.
Oh no.
I think my absolute favorite one, because it was so strange and because we did so much work for the guy and he was so ungrateful, was our super Star Wars fan.
We didn't even get that deal.
No. So this guy called us. It was like a Vinyl Village A-class property that he wanted to sell. And it was like kind of odd when we first got there. Like it was very, very sparsely furnished for like an adult living there. Like a twin size bed in a corner in the bedroom. Like
with a weight set in the other corner. I do remember that.
Yeah, like just there was not much except for Star Wars memorabilia. There was like life-size cutouts from the movies and, you know, posters and like I think like a giant plastic C-3PO, like all this kinds of stuff. And then in the master bathroom, there was a hand-drawn, laminated, fully nude Princess Leia that like, A, did you make this yourself? Or B, is there like a sick eBay I don't know about? And on that one, the guy forgot about a second mortgage he had that was like $40,000 that we got negotiated off to nothing.
Right.
And then he refused to sign.
And we're just like,
no, I'm not going to sell you guys the house.
We're like, what is your problem?
Dude, you're getting your price. I know about your little problem. And I saved you 40 grand. Like, you owe this to me. And the dude just absolutely refused to. He was just like, no. Actually, no. He said, well,
I can just sell it for more.
Yeah, I can just sell it for more now that mortgage isn't on there.
And we're like, it doesn't work like that.
Like, dude.
I think speaking of that one, that was kind of a weird encounter. One encounter that I get.
You get this one often.
It's more than I'd like to admit.
But like, you like to admit it a little bit.
It's kind of funny. It's a good one. And it comes from older women and men.
And older men.
And men.
in more rural parts of Indiana.
I get the, so you're exotic.
And like, you're like, so when was the last time you did the kitchen? And they're like,
they just watch it and they're like, they hit you with the, so where are you from? And I'm just like, Northern Indiana. Yeah, that one. I've gotten that one too many times.
I'm trying to think of what else we got.
What's another good one?
Bro, David.
I forgot all about that.
He's like, I'm we go to like his apartment.
Literally,
bro, he had this in a bedroom. Just like the unfurnished room with a I think one of my favorite appointments I ever ran was when I first got to Indianapolis. An out-of-state owner called me and they had a really rough rental. And they were like, you just let yourself in. And so I like, you know, I was like, all right, whatever. So I get there. I go to let myself in and the door's locked. So I call him and he was like, bro, just kick it in. Dude, I felt like SEAL Team 6. The first kick. It's like 37 later that I finally made it through. And then I wasn't able to buy the house. So I was like, yo, you might want to get your back door fixed. In closing, as you start to do direct to seller investing, as you start to go on appointments, there's a whole bunch of stories we like laughed about off camera and chose not to include because they were too crass or too foul or too gross. Just be aware you're going to see some things. And not every appointment you go to is going to be great. Not every house you go through is going to be clean. In my experience, typically it's like the nicer areas, the nicer houses that hold like the horrors behind the door.
Yeah.
So, you know, get ready, have fun, and be able to laugh about it because you're going to get your own war stories
Yep.
I appreciate you hanging out with us. Obviously, Noah and I had a lot of fun kind of going back through, reminiscing some of these unforgettable experiences, if you will. Feel free to drop any funny stories or awkward stories you've got from appointments with your sellers. I think it's really good for folks that aren't doing direct-to-seller marketing yet, just to have a little bit of an idea of what a day in the life really is like. Be sure to like and subscribe. As always, if you found this helpful or enjoyable, tell your friends. Talk to you next time.